Thank you, fellow friends. Thank you again for this new bright day. In our previous episode, we promised a new topic. We said we'll speak about gods of men and God the Creator. Gods, little g, gods of men and God the Creator. Because there's a problem. There is much problem. People do not know which God they are following. Most preachers today speak about the gods, the small god, little g, not the God the Creator. So when you don't know the difference between these gods and God the Creator, you'll be toasted here and there. So we have to first differentiate so that when you are following a man of God, you know who is serving, whether it's God the Creator or these little gods. Why I said this? Because you hear, especially in African churches, God of pastor this, God of prophet this, God of this church, God of this, God of this. We have to ask, is it right to be saying God of a man? So do human beings have God? Is it right to say God of pastor this, God of this, or God of prophet this, or God of apostle this, God of my father, God of this? Yeah, some people have enough evidence which they use to back up this claim. They say the Bible said the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and at times the God of Elijah. Yes, these claims are there in the Bible. But are these claims really valid? Must it be doctrinal? So we have to clarify all these things. Because when we say something is Catholic, Catholic means universal. I don't mean the Roman Catholic Church. Catholic means universal. That's orthodox. It must be something that is being approved by the original people, the original church in Jerusalem. Because the first church was in Jerusalem. From the church in Jerusalem, then came all other churches. We have to see whether the Orthodox Church, the original, approve all this. So it is time we, especially the preachers in Africa, it is time you have to go back to Jerusalem to look at what you are saying. Why I say you have to go back to Jerusalem to look at what you are saying? If you go to Galatians 2, verse 1. Galatians 2, verse 1, what Paul did. You know, Paul, most of you follow Paul, but are you really putting Paul into practice? Because Paul was preaching. But he came to a time, he said, no, I have to go and check whether what I'm preaching is right, whether it matches with the Orthodox Christianity. So you go to the book of Galatians 2 from 1 to 2. Then 14 years after, I went again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me. 2, look at 2. Galatians 2 from verse 1. You say, from 2. When there, because God, you say, from 2. Say, I went there because God revealed to me that I should go. Paul said he went there. There was a time that Paul had a burden in his heart. And he said, no, let me go and really prove myself whether what I'm doing is right. He said, in Galatians 2, say, I went there because God revealed to me that I should go. While I was there, I met privately with those considered to be leaders of the church and shared with them the message I had been preaching to the Gentiles. Paul went there to prove whether what he's doing is right. While he was there, he met leaders of the church and shared his opinion. If you continue to 7, you see, in 7 years, they said what? Instead, he said, and the leaders, they said, what they said, instead, they saw that God had given me the responsibility of preaching the gospel to the Gentiles, just as he had given Peter the responsibility of preaching the gospel to the Jews. For the same God who walked through Peter as apostle to the Jews also walked through me as apostle to the Gentiles. In fact, James, Peter, and John, who were known as pillar of the church, recognized the gift God had given me, and they accepted Barnabas and me as their co-workers. Paul carried his message, went to the church in Jerusalem, compared it with the real Orthodox doctrine to see whether what he's preaching matches with the Orthodox doctrine. So it's a common phenomenon now, especially in Africa, God of pastor this, God of pastor this, God of pastor this. So it's time we have to go back to the real Orthodox doctrine to see whether what all these gods, everybody has his God in Africa, this is God, this is God, this is God. What it is orthodoxically accepted. So we've seen that Paul carried it on and went and checked back, cross-checked the church in Jerusalem. The church in Jerusalem is our role model. The Jewish people are our role model. So we have to go back and look whether they are doing it that same way. If they're not doing it that same way, it means we are doing something different. Because God used with them. God started with them. He said in Exodus 19:5 that I'll make you a nation of priests. God wanted them, and God used with them to write the same Bible. They're the one who wrote the Bible. They're the one who started translating the Bible. So we have to always go back to them to cross-check. So, as I was saying, we have to go back now to the creation. We have to look at where these gods come from. All these gods, where they came from. So, I like always, it's good to know the original languages, the Hebrew and the Greek language. The Bible was written in Hebrew, then later translated to Greek by 70 scholars called the Septuagint. They did it in Alexander in Egypt. So if we go to the original Septuagint Bible, we'll say the Brenton Septuagint. Go to if you can type in Google, look, Brenton Septuagint. You go there to Job 38, verse 7. Look at what it says. Job 38, verse 7. It said, when the stars were made, all my angels praised me with a loud voice. God said that when the stars were made, all his angels praised him with a loud voice. What does this mean? Mean that the angels were already created before man. Because they celebrated the creation of God with a loud voice. And that time man was not yet created. Man came later. So when the stars were made, these angels were already there. They celebrated with a loud voice. If you go to the original language, that's original translation from the Brenton Septuagint. Go to that, there you see it. It's the original. Okay, now, let's go back to where are all these gods coming from? We have to go back to the issue last time we preached about the light. Let me first give you the symbol of light. Light symbolizes glory. Light symbolizes knowledge. Light symbolizes authority. Light symbolizes present. Glory, knowledge, authority, and present. And if we go to the book of John 8, verse 12, Jesus Christ said, I am the light. He spoke to the person, I am the light of the world. If you follow me, you won't have to walk in darkness because you will have the light that leads to life. Jesus Christ also know he's a light. If you go to 2 Peter 1, verse 19, Peter mentioned the morning star in connection with Christ rising in the heart of believers. Peter mentioned the morning star in connection with Christ rising in the hearts of believers. If you go to Revelation 22, verse 16, Jesus said, I am the bright morning star. So it's all about the light, the light, the light. And you go, the Bible will say, darkness was hovering over the earth in Genesis. And God said, let there be light. And light shine over the darkness. God said, let there be light. You have to do with light. So you go now to another person who was a servant of light, who was called Lucifer, who was later called the devil. Go to Isaiah 14, verse 12. He said, how you are falling from heaven. So you are falling, like Lucifer is falling from heaven. O shining star, son of the morning, you have been thrown down. He was called shining star, son of the morning. Son, remember the word son of the morning. It means he was a light bearer. He was a light bringer. He was a reflection. Like now you see my window. The window is reflecting light inside the house. It was that window it's just like that window reflecting light to the house. It was just like the door reflecting light into the house. So that was his role. He was a reflection. That was oh, son of the morning, shining star. He was not that star. He was just son of the morning, shining star, reflecting the light to the house. He also had the same role like John the Baptist. John 1, verse 6 to 9. God sent his messenger, a man named John the Baptist, to tell about the light so that everyone might believe because of his testimony. John himself was not that light. He was simply a witness to tell about the light, the one who is the light, the true light, who gives light to others. He was just a witness to tell about the one who is the true light and give light to others. So We come now to the devil, as you said. He was also son of the. They say he was shining star, son of the morning. He was shining star, son of the morning. But you come now, you see what devil wanted. He never wanted to be that shining star or son of the morning. He never wanted to be that reflection. He wanted to be the light. So you have to manipulate. If you go to 2 Corinthians 11, verse 14, listen, Satan, they say Satan disguised himself to look like the angel of light. In 2 Corinthians 11, 14, they say he disguised himself to look like the angel of light. So in doing that in heaven, I'm trying to make you to know how he felt. He wanted to be the light. So he disguised himself. He just reflecting light from the window and shining into the house. But he never wanted the angels to know that he's just a reflection of the light. He started making them know I'm the light. So as they were seeing the light, I know light depicts glory, depicts authority, depicts presence, depicts all these good things. So he was using like presence. As I told you, light symbolizes glory, authority, presence. So he was now making like, this is my glory, this is my authority, this is my presence. So some angels in the heaven, they trusted him, they believed in him. That's why he had so many followers in heaven also. And in Revelation, in Isaiah said he was kicked out. He was kicked out. Isaiah said, he said, oh, shining star, son of the morning, you have been thrown down to earth. Oh, shining star, son of the morning, you have been thrown. He was thrown down to earth because, why was he thrown down to earth? Because he disguised himself. He never wanted to be again that bringer or that bearer or that reflection of the light to the people. But he disguised like, I am now the light. You people receive me and the light. So some angels fall into that scheme. And that's why he was kicked out of heaven. He fell short of the glory in heaven. If you go to Revelation 21 verse 4, he had so many followers. He came down with 1/3 of angels. So 1/3 of angels follow him. In Revelation 12 verse 4. If you go to the book of Jude, to know that some angels followed the devil. We go to the book of Jude. Jude 6. What does Jude 6 say? Jude 6 says, and I remind you of the angel who did not stay within. I remind you of the angels who did not stay within the limits of authority God gave them, but left the place where they belong. God has kept them securely chained in prison of darkness, waiting for the great day of judgment. So Jude said, he reminded us of angels who never stayed in their position, but were being kicked off. So we're talking about now fallen angels. Devil wanted to be the light and he was being kicked off, and he swept also some angels that way. He had a great following in heaven. If you go to Revelation 12 verse 4, he had a great following in heaven. He was being kicked off with those angels. And Jude also emphasized in Jude 6. So we're talking about the fallen angels now. Know that when we talk about the fallen angels, it doesn't mean that they fell from heaven, came down. They fell in their position, that they fell and come short of glory of God. Not all of the angels were being swept, not all the fallen angels were being carried from their position to a devil. Never carried all of them. He got a big followers, very big following, but he never carried all. Jude makes us to know that only those who left their position, because some followed him down. You see, Jude said, and I remind you of the angels who did not stay within the limits of authority. They never stay within the limits of authority God gave them, but left the place where they belong. God has kept them. So God gave them a limit of authority, but they left the place and followed Satan down. Why they followed Satan down? They came and they started having fun with human daughters. These are the angels which Jude said that they are in chain. He said, and I remind you of the angels who did not stay within the limits of authority God gave them, but left the place where they belong. God has kept them securely chained in prison of darkness, waiting for great day. So those that left follow Satan because he's coming down or to earth. God was not happy with them because they came, they started having fun with human daughters, and they started producing giants. Some Bible scripture, they call it Nephilim. They started producing, the Nephilim came down, they started producing giants. Nephilim in Hebrew is a verb. They call it nifar. Nifar means to fall. So Nephilim, which you see in the Bible, means fallen ones, fallen one, because it's a Hebrew word, a Hebrew verb, a Hebrew. It's Nephilim is a Hebrew verb. It means in Hebrew fall. That's nifar. Nifar is a Hebrew verb that means to fall. So Nephilim are fallen ones. So Jude was right. Jude said that angels would never stay in their habitat. Instead they came down. But some of them who were also fallen angels in heaven, they never moved. They are still there. Those ones, you can see them if you go to the book of Ephesians. Ephesians 6. Because Ephesians 6 speak of those ones that are still there. Ephesians 6. Ephesians 6 speak of the fallen angels that never came down. So, as I said, there were two classes of fallen angels. Those that came down, who lived their original habitat, which Jude 6 say it, and those that never came down, who are still there, who stayed there, remained there, but they are already fallen, but they lost their position, but they never lived, they lost their authority in the throne room of God, but they are still there in heavenly places. But those that came down and started having link with human daughters, those are the ones that God kept them in chain. Jude explained it in Jude 6. You can go in Jude 6 and see that the ones that came down on earth and started having fun with human daughters are the ones that are in chain. They left their original habitat and came down. But the ones that they follow devil, they believe on devil's ideology, but they never left heaven. They are still in heavenly places. They never left their original heavenly places. They are still there. These are the ones which Paul explained it in Ephesians 6. Ephesians 6 verse 12. He said, we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil rulers and authority of the unseen world, against mighty powers in the dark world, and against evil spirit in the heavenly. So these are the fallen angels who never left their habitat. They are still up there. That's why Paul said we are not fighting against flesh and blood on earth. We're fighting against those fallen angels that are still up, that never left their habitat. Paul said, for we are not fighting against flesh and blood enemies, but against evil spirit and authority of the unseen world, against mighty powers in dark world, and against the spirit in the heavenly places. The spirit in the heavenly places. Fallen angels were also the fallen angels in the heavenly places that fall with the devil. They never left their habitat. They just like say they fell and come short of the glory of God. They fell and come short of glory, but they were still there in their habitats. But the ones that left their habitat, which Jude said, angels that left their habitat and came to earth, are the ones that are in chain. The ones that never left their habitat, they are still up there. They are not in chain. And these ones are the ones whom. So I'm coming to gods. Why people get different gods? The ones that never leave their habitats, they are the ones in the heavenly places, which Ephesians 6 verse 12 explained. The one that left their habitats and came, which Jude 6 explained. They were having connection with human daughters. That's the Nephilims. As I explained to you, I say Nifar is a Hebrew verb that means to fall. Nephilim means fallen ones. These are the ones that are in chain. And Paul said we're not wrestling with flesh and blood, with those fallen angels. Those are the angels that fall and came short of that glory in the heavenly places. They are the ones we are wrestling with. So you've seen, I've clarified fallen angels to you. Fallen angels does not mean that fall. It means fall and come short of the glory of God. And not all left their habitat. Jude makes us know that some left their habitat and came to earth. These are the ones that are in chain. But those that fall and come short of glory of God in heaven, but never leave their habitat, they are still in the heavenly places. And these are the ones which Paul explained in Ephesians 6 verse 12, that these are the ones we are battling with. Okay, so, and we have established that angels, if we go to original Septuagint, the angels celebrated when they saw the creation, when they saw God's creation. We've also established that the devil wanted to be the light. So now we go now to the fall of man. Devil has already fallen, fall of man, but devil never had authority. Devil was already in his fallen state, but he never have authority. Look at, he has fallen, come short of the glory of God. Some are hovering, some have been knocked down on earth. He never have the authority. So devil was looking every means to have a kingdom also, because he wanted to be that light. So when God created man, God gave man everything, gave man dominion, everything. In the book of Job, said that angels, they celebrated over the creation. So the angels saw it, devil also saw it, and he was jealous. Said, "This is a good kingdom, I can come and take it." So he came, he manipulated man. In Genesis 3, from verse 1 to 19, you saw the whole scenario that took place. Man fell, and his authority was handed over to the devil. Man's authority was handed over to the devil. The devil was now the new sheriff. If you go to Luke 4, verse 6, the devil even told Jesus that all this was handed. Right in Luke 4, verse 6, the devil told Jesus that all this was handed over to him. Let's look at it. Because when man failed, man handed over to the devil. I know devil was looking every means in heaven to have a kingdom, to be that light. So he finally got the opportunity by man to take what was handed over to man. Because they saw the creation, they saw the beauty thing that God was doing to man. Angels were celebrating. So he wanted to have that kingdom. So let's go to the book of Luke. You will see that devil had all the powers. He was given the full authority. That was Luke 4, verse 6. Sorry, to go do Bible exegesis, you need to bring so many topics, so many proofs, so that you can know the origin. I'm trying to go to origin of all these gods, where these gods are coming from, so that when you start hearing them, you will know how to defend yourself. So this Luke 4, verse 6. Luke 4, verse 6. Devil said to Jesus, I will give you the glory of this kingdom and authority. The devil said to Jesus, I will give you the glory of this kingdom and authority over them. He said to Jesus, I'll give you the glory of the kingdom and authority over them. The devil said, because they are mine to give to anyone I please. He said, because they are mine to give to anyone he pleases. I will give it all to you if you will obey me. He was making Jesus to know that all this authority, all this kingdom belongs to him. They are his. They were handed to him. So he have the right to give it to anyone he pleases. Let me look at in King James Version. What does King James say about it? Because maybe King James explains it better. In Bible, you have to read so many Bible to really see we can give the point the way he wants it. So let me see in King James Version. Luke 4, verse 6. And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whosoever. He was delivered, he was given to, he has the permission. Say, for whosoever that was given, whosoever I will, I give it. They will make Jesus to know that everything was given to him, and Jesus knew that it was true. So you see now that devil manipulated man and everything was handed over to devil, he had that permission. Now it was his. I would know what's called that a previous episode about the permissive will of God. So he was now permitted to operate. What must he do? He have his own packet. When he fell in heaven, he have some angels. He have his people, those who came down, who came down with him, and those who are still up there. He introduced them to the world. That's why we have the Nephilim. They started having contact with human daughters. And that is how we also have spiritual forces in the air. God withdrew his will, withdrew everything, but God's presence was just there watching. So now as man was in that desperate stage, man was trying to look for God, to reach to God again. In the course of man trying to reach to God, devils is now the one controlling all those falling angels in spiritual realm, in heavenly places, started contacting man, and man started dealing with them like gods. Man thought they were gods, God has spirit. Man, everything spirit about things is a deity. It's a deity. So man started using them like his gods. Man started, there are so many, started contacting man in different ways. In the quest of that came so many religions. So many religion was being birthed. That's a birth of so many different religion from type of pagan. So many paganic religions came up. God was on the side, watching what was happening. So man had so many gods, offering so many sacrifices, doing so many things, so many gods. You see the original of these gods, but the original God who created the world, he withdrew because man handed his authority. So he withdrew his presence and permitted devil to operate. And devil even told Jesus that it was handed to him. In Luke 4:6, Jesus, devil said that it was handed to me. I have the right to give it to who I wish. This is his permission. So devil was now controlling everything, controlling the world. And man was seeking God. Devil was not a God. That's why Jesus would say he was a bad person right from the beginning. So you are of your father the devil. He was this right from the beginning. You understand? Jesus Christ even said it from the beginning. He is now the sheriff controlling everything. So man was trying to reach God. Man contacted by new spirits. And man got some even good result. Those people can give you good things. In Second Corinthians, in 2 Corinthians 11:14, they say he disguised himself as an angel of light. The devil disguised himself as angel of light. So he even give man good things. He can give you money, prosperity, make you prosper, make you even have children. You see things he was doing things. And man was hailing him. Oh, God is doing, God is doing. Man was thinking it's God doing so many things, so many good and bad things. Man was thinking it's God. The devil was behind all those things. God withdrew his manifest presence. He was just watching. But God had a plan to save man. But God just wanted man to test what he's passing through. So we have seen that gods now came in. Gods, these fallen angels, the ones that are in the heavenly places, the one that came in and have connection with human daughters, as Jude said in Jude 6, the one that are still in heavenly places, as the book of Ephesians 6:12 said, they all were controlling. So that's why Ephesians say, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but of spiritual forces in heavenly places, those spiritual forces. So they were the one controlling now. Okay, now we come now to people say that, yeah, why did they say the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac and Jacob? We have seen that we have established one thing. There are so many gods that came in after the fall of man. So many paganistic gods. Devil brought his fallen angels and they were operating like gods and everything. That is established. And they were having different names. You go to the ancient books of history. You go to the Jewish ancient book or Greek books of history. You see the different gods which were being introduced in the world. They are not in the Bible. That the Bible refers others. Go to the books of Kings, go to different books, you will see all those gods. Or you go and read the Jewish history or the Greek history, you see all those those gods that came up when the devil took over the world. So now the question people say, but why is it the God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, okay, and God of Elijah? Yes, there was that coinage, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That coinage came from God. God himself spoke of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. How it happened. We'll continue. Just watch for the second episode. I tell you, it will be interesting. The second episode will clarify all the issue, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the God of Elijah, and will also conclude by clarifying issues of favor, because people will look of favor like a merited favor, like is a thing that you must always receive it. We'll also clarify that. It'll be amazing in the part 2. Just stay put. Tune for part 2. When you watch this part 1, continue in part 2 so that you get the whole thing.